Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm back with a March budget recap. I'm going to be showing y'all how I use the Budget Mom worksheets to close out my budget, as well as my overview of my progress throughout the month of March. It is crazy to me that it is already April, so let's just go ahead and get started because this is crazy. So the workbook comes with the calendar overview. I'm not going to dive too much into that because it's pretty straightforward. I just list out my bills and that I get paid every week. So getting paid every week, I use a paycheck bill tracker each week. This shows my total everything, like everything. So your start, which is all your income, minus your bills, minus your variable spending, minus your sinking funds, any extra debt or savings, and that's your income. So you're going to use these sheets to close out your budget. Since I do get paid every single week, March had 4 Fridays, so I used all 4 sheets. The thing I like about her printable pages versus her workbook in the actual book form is for the printable pages, it comes with 4 sheets, and then you can always print extra if you need them, which is super nice. And then the expense tracker. So you want to use an expense tracker for every account that has money movement. So I am not a cash spender. I suck at it, so I just use my checking card, my debit card. So my checking account gets its own expense tracker, and you can see I did need 2 sheets for my checking account because that's primarily where all of my spending is. Then I do have a Chase credit card I primarily use for Amazon purchases, but then you can see I did do 3 Walmart trips on here. They were a lot larger, so I put them on my credit card and then paid them off. Y'all know I have a lot of debt. I'm being very strict with myself. I only use my credit card if I can pay it off, and I try to not let the balance go over $200 in like a worst case situation. These food costs were super high just because we were stocking up, because with everything going on, Josh and I are both staying home. We're not working, and we eat most of our food at work because we work in the food service industry. So our food cost went up significantly due to us being home, because we are eating every single meal at home. We're not eating out at all, and we do try to normally keep eating out to a minimum, but we're not eating out at all and we're not eating at work. So our food costs did go up significantly. All right, so now we're getting into the fun part. Those are kind of your core sheets, and then when closing out your budget, these are my favorite. Your first sheet is a debt payment plan. So you list all of your debts that you have. You can see here I did not pay off the remaining $116.31 of my Chase card, so that was on here. And I typically do these closeouts on the last day of the month, so everything within the month is accounted for. So I had $116 that carried over into April that I needed to pay off. I didn't put a minimum payment on there because the minimum payment is paying it off. Next is Savor One. Savor One is my credit card. If y'all know, or if you've been following along, you know I took out a personal loan to pay off Chase and most of Savor One. I paid off all, but it was about $620 of Savor One that I didn't pay off because the personal loan I took out had a $600 fee with it. So that's why the balance is at $345 now. Interest on this is currently 0%, but it starts May 2nd on my birthday. So my goal is to have it paid off by then. I currently have it down to $275, so it's almost paid off. We are making progress. Then I have my student loan, which is for $8,704. The interest rate got moved to 0% due to everything going on right now with the coronavirus. My account was put in forbearance. I don't really know how to say that word. It's kind of embarrassing. But my account was moved to 0% interest, which I'm extremely grateful for. It makes such a difference. Currently, or previously, I guess, my interest rate was only about 4%. I had a few loans that varied, so my interest rate wasn't really that high overall. So it was about $28 a month to interest, but being able to save that now, it's through September as of right now. That is how long the federal student loan, I guess, I don't know what you would call it, like forgiveness. It's under the CARE Acts, but it's through September. So Currently, so my minimum payment for my student loan is $249. I have always tried to pay extra towards it because I want my student loans gone. Well, once getting into credit card debt, I kind of had to reprioritize. My last boss talked to me and he's like, you realize you're paying $280 towards something with 4% interest, but then you have your credit card with 24% interest and you're paying less towards your credit card. He was like, you know, so he recommended that I switch from the snowball method to the avalanche method. The snowball is when you throw all your money at your smallest payments. You kind of build momentum as you pay them off. But he said for me, I was kind of paying a lot of money towards interest that I didn't need to if I just reprioritized my spending. And so after talking to him, I was a little resistant, so I bumped it from $280 to $260, and I bumped up my personal loan payment to $290. I think it is like $283, so that's not really bumping it up. But since my student loan has gone to 0% interest, they removed the automatic payment as well. You can opt in to still make payments, but currently I've decided I'm going to forego making payments towards my student loan and put the $260 towards my Upstart loan, which has 11.7% interest, because it currently averages about $120 a month in interest. So I'm going to start making a total of $550 towards my Upstart loan. And then once my Great Lakes do come back with interest in September, I will start back with the $260. That is just to kind of hopefully in the next few months bring my overall balance on Upstart down. Moving on, I feel like I ranted about that for a long time, but that's kind of my rundown on the student loan situation. Obviously, I'm not an expert. This is just what I am doing personally for me. If you have the money to keep paying towards your student loans, I always recommend it. I also added my dentist to my debt payment. I plan on paying my dentist off as soon as we get this stimulus check, which, you know, the whole don't count your money yet, but I'm hoping we get it soon, and I'm going to pay off my dentist with that. So with this, you mark your minimum payments. Your total debt payments in March is your minimum payments that you pay and then anything additional. So extra debt payments you'd normally write in here. I did not make any extra debt payments. I only paid my minimum. So moving down here, you get to track your monthly debt progress. This is one of those things that's always eye-opening to me, because if you pay $635 to debt, you would expect your progress to be at least $635. Unfortunately, you can see that although I paid $635, I also added my dentist bill for $376. So that is why my total debt monthly progress is less than what I paid, because my debt went up. So unfortunately, between this month and last month, there was not much improvement, only about $382. So then, one thing I love is she has a monthly debt progress and an overall debt progress. There are times when I get really discouraged, feeling like, you know, I spent $635 towards debt, but it only actually counted for not even $400. But before I let myself get discouraged, I really look at my overall debt progress. And since, I think this is since August, when I started using these sheets, I started with $25,995. Almost $26,000. Now I'm at almost $22,000. So overall, I have paid $4,174.09 to debt. So going along with the debt, this sheet is pretty similar. You mark all of your debt, which is basically just a copy over from this sheet to the next sheet. And you also count all of your assets, and your total assets minus your total liabilities is your current net worth. Now, my net worth actually got worse. I can't do math, but it's, yeah, here. It's $378 less than what I had to my name last month. A large part of this is my Roth IRA. My Roth IRA had gotten up to about $6,400, and then with the coronavirus and everything going around, it started decreasing. but I am just leaving it in there. I'm not touching it because the market is one of those things that it flows. So I'm not worried about it. I know it will come back, hopefully. And either way, I just do know that that is a large part of my change in money, and then also my dentist. So that right there is about $600 between the two of them, at least, that affected my net worth this month. So then, in addition to my assets, I also include all of the cash that I have. So I have all of my bank accounts, savings, everything online, and then all of my cash as well. And that brought me to $7,513.03. And then my total liabilities are negative $21,821.20. So that's how you get your net worth. I love seeing this. It's very satisfying for me. I just love watching it. Obviously this month it didn't improve, but it's still a great overview. This next sheet is a where did my money go monthly budget breakdown. So for your spending categories, I think it's listed as your envelopes, but your variable spending, everything you spend your money on, gets tracked. So on my sheets, it's here. I normally do gas, food, and shopping. I also have personal that's sometimes on here. But you use the numbers from all of your sheets. You add them all up, or you could also add up from your trackers. For me, it's a lot easier to total up these numbers from 4 sheets than to total up all of my tracking. It's just a much easier breakdown. But once you have it totaled, you can see what you spent this month. You also take your starting balance, what you started March with in your bank account, which you get from your expense tracker. So when I started March, I had $111 in my checking account. So $111 plus, or incoming income. It's not necessarily earned income, but every dollar I used, whether it was from sinking funds, my actual paycheck, all of that counts as incoming income because it was money that you had to use this month. And those two added up equal your total monthly income. So this is a good breakdown to see if you are spending too much of your income in one category. So my biggest category, 28% of my income goes to bills. And then my next one would be 27% of my income goes to debt. My savings was super low this month because I stopped all cash savings because I have not really left the house. I haven't been to an ATM, and if you're watching my budget videos, you know that I haven't done any cash savings. But I am going to change that. I'm going to transfer it to my savings account, and when I do finally get to an ATM, I'm going to withdraw it and put it in my cash envelopes. But this is a great sheet. I always do this every time. You're supposed to do budget categories, monthly budget, and then monthly spent. I always mix them up every time because I rarely write in my monthly budget because I pretty much just do $30 a week as a budget for everything, and that always fluctuates. So I typically don't worry about that. I just really like to see the percent of income to make sure I'm keeping everything balanced. Like if you're spending 70% of your income in bills, then you have a problem. You have to go in and readjust and either try to cut back on your bills or try to increase your income because that is really out of balance. So that's that sheet. Moving on, my camera's about to die, so I need to grab my other battery. I feel like I'm like staring at the camera the whole time to make sure it doesn't stop filming. I should just trade it out. All right, new battery, who dis? So this next sheet is your monthly debt versus your savings breakdown. What I love about the Budget Mom sheets is she has the little breakdown at the bottom of how to do the math, because if you gave this to me without how to do the math, I would not be able to do it. Just being honest here, math is my least favorite subject, but I've grown to quite love it in doing my finances. So you take your total monthly income from the previous sheet here, and you take your monthly debt payment, which is also debt $635, savings $89. So you use the numbers, and that's one thing I love about how our sheets are organized is each sheet leads into the next sheet. So it looks like a lot at first, but you're really just copying the numbers that you have. Once you have them, it is a breeze to go through your breakdown. Once you take your total monthly income and your debt payment amount, which you get from the previous sheet, which I think I said is what I love about her sheets, they all lead into the next. You take your debt payment, what you specifically, you take your debt categories, and you can tell what your priority is based on what you pay towards it. So my largest interest rate is Upstart, and therefore it is what I pay. 45% of my total debt payment goes towards Upstart. My next biggest one is Great Lakes. It's my student loan. It's $260. Then my Savor one credit card is the next one I want paid off. It does not currently have any interest like I talked about, but it is going to start soon, so I'm trying to get it paid down. And then my dentist bill, I just paid $10 to. So same thing for savings. You can tell CrimeCon is a priority for me. It gets 45% of my total monthly savings, and this is actually low. My savings was really low this month. Like I previously said, I wasn't taking out any cash savings and I wasn't putting any money aside. That's changed now. So camping gets $6 a week, so that amount stays pretty low as well. And then my March savings challenge is another one that really varies. And then Schwab is just a flat $10 a month, so it's always my lowest, and then it's typically always my lowest. So that is what my savings categories look like. Moving on to my next sheet, this is another one I don't fully utilize completely, but the main purpose of this sheet is to mark your monthly income change. So how much you made in February versus how much you made in March, and whether your income went up or down, your spending should reflect that. So I didn't mark my monthly income change. I have it somewhere. It would actually be interesting to look at, I guess. So my income from February to March decreased by about $700. It significantly went down. Mainly because I've not been getting any overtime, and that makes about $50 a week difference. And then I don't know what else, but my income fluctuates based on whether I use any sinking funds or any cash savings. That makes a big difference as well. So my income went down, therefore my spending overall should fluctuate. You can tell here my savings definitely went down. That's one that I always want to go up. I want my savings to go up. I want my debt payment to go up until it's gone, and then obviously I hope to never have a debt payment again besides like a mortgage, you know. Then my bills fluctuated by $12, really weird, but that's typically reflected in our electric bill. I send Josh a little bit different depending on how high our electric is, and luckily the weather here has been very mild. It hasn't been super high or super low, so we have just kept the windows open pretty much every day since we've been home. It's really nice. We've had a few gross days in there, but luckily, you know, our house held temperature well, so we haven't really used too much heating or air. My shopping did go up, and my food actually went down, which I was really surprised about because I felt like my food had gone up significantly just with everything going on. We had two really large payments, but I guess one thing is we've been going to the store a lot less. So we stocked up twice with a lot of food, but then we really haven't made our normal like weekly trip to Walmart. And when we would make a weekly Walmart trip, we'd always typically buy way more than we need because we'd be walking around and I'd be like, ooh, you know, new like decor item for the house, and we'd pick it up. So it would always end up being more than what it needed to be. Look at my little boyfriend. I'm just gonna spin you around real quick. Hopefully you can see him. He is, where is he? There he is! Cutting the grass. So yeah, I think making less trips to the store overall has definitely helped our spending go down. And then gas has also gone down because we really haven't gone anywhere. So moving on, that's all of the sheets that actually come in the monthly workbook. But she has a free resource library, and that's where I get a lot of my bonus sheets from. These have made such a difference. I love these so much. The first one is the yearly spending overview. I love this. It is a great way of just having one sheet for the entire year. That's my favorite thing, because with the binder you have your sheets, but it's going to be each month. You kind of have to thumb through these. So this is a great way to get your baseline numbers and then to have one sheet to hold all of those numbers. It's just a little more convenient. So for January, my income was almost $1,000 more than what my income was in March. So you track your incomes at the top, your expense categories all come out, and then you have your total expenses, what it equals, and then your balance remaining. This is just a good overview to quickly see if your food went up or down. February was definitely a high month for food, and March has been the highest for shopping. Bills have been decreasing. Not really sure. I looked back at January and I don't know what I'm doing differently for my bills, but my bills are $100 less now. And then debt is roughly about the same because my minimum payments never really changed. It's just whether I have extra money to throw at it or not. January was a great savings month. I saved almost $1,000. I saved $928.54. A lot of that was in cash envelopes, different savings like that, and then you can tell my savings have decreased since not going out. And then my personal, I didn't start until February, and then I spent $76 in personal, but then I haven't spent any in March. I feel like that zero just looks really weird. So that's a convenient sheet. I love that one. The next sheet I printed, and this is just a fun one. This is actually from Heidi Nash at debtfreecharts.com. Let me see if the next one is. All right, we'll save that one for next. We'll keep it with the Budget Mom, and then we'll come back to Heidi because I love her sheets. So this next sheet is, again, a yearly balance overview, but you get graphs, and this is so fun, okay? So you have your savings balance, and I put a little star here. I didn't want my balance for savings to be all over the place. I kind of wanted it to primarily be my personal fund and my emergency fund, because those are my two savings categories that are never gonna change, hopefully, or go away. I did not want it to be fluctuating based on, you know, I'm saving $1,000 for CrimeCon this week or this year and not next year, you know, so I didn't want it to fluctuate like that. I just want it to be my two core savings accounts. And then my debt balance is everything. Obviously, I can't get around that. And then my retirement balance is my Roth IRA. And like I said before, you can see here, it was at $62.45 in January. It went up a little in February, and then I don't know if I'd say that significantly dropped. I mean, that's a lot of money to me, but that's how the market goes. So it went down, I can do math, 63.15 minus 57.59. It went down $556 in a month. That's crazy. But you know, you see people on the news that are losing like thousands of dollars. I don't have that much, but again, like I said, I'm not gonna touch it. It's just gonna do its thing. My net worth has gotten worse since January. I think a large part is that $600 from my Roth IRA, and then also my emergency fund got dipped into about $50, and then another like $70 or $100. I can't, wow, $170? I promise I went to school. But my savings balance has gone down a bit, And then the graph is my favorite part. So since this is a yearly overview, I tried to keep the segmented amounts about $500 so that way I can actually see a noticeable difference and not get discouraged with like 22,000 to 0,000. That also wouldn't be practical because I know realistically I'm not going to pay off $22,000 in the remaining months. So I just wanted to break it down into, you know, hopefully what is relatively feasible in the next few months. My net worth, once I think once I finish this, I'm going to start to draw a line and hopefully it just keeps going down. It would be beautiful if it was like, but you know, my net worth is another one that has gotten worse, but hopefully it goes back up because I don't have room for it to get worse than $14,500. So it better start going back up. That's just something I will need to work on. So that's the yearly balance overview sheet, one of my favorites. And then these two I think come together. You have page 1 and page 2. They're numbered. So yeah, I think these come together. They're on her free resource library. You do need a password to get in. I don't know how to get in actually. I don't know if it's a purchase is necessary because I bought her workbook and got access to pretty much all of her stuff, but I think if you sign up for her email list then you get access to it as well. Yeah, so I don't think a purchase is necessary. So this next sheet is from Heidi Nash at debtfreecharts.com. I love her charts so much, and so this is similar to the graph on this sheet. Debt is going down. Hopefully debt's going down. So these two are similar. This one you can fill in your own amounts obviously, and then it's from January to January and then almost January of the next year. So this is 2 years worth. So I started January 31st. I do the last day of every month and I had $22,328, and then for February I was at $22,203, and then March was just under 22,000, like 21,821. So this is a fun one. You get to just see it, and I'm hoping it goes down. I don't know whether I'll actually hit 0 in the next 2 years. I think my current trajectory for my personal loan is 5 years. But I'm going to keep trying to throw all that I have at it and hope it goes away faster. So these are some of my favorite sheets for seeing your overview. Like I talked about previously, don't get discouraged week to week, month to month, but look at the bigger picture. And that's what I think makes these sheets so helpful, is you're looking at the big picture. You know, my net worth has gotten worse, but hopefully in the next few months it'll start to go back up and I'll get to see that. And it's just something to keep in mind. I have here some numbers that make me feel a little better. These are my assets, liability, and net worth ever since I started. And since August, more notes. Since August, my assets have gone up almost $1,000, $999. That's more cash savings, that's my emergency fund, just everything I have has gone up. My liabilities have gone down $5,117.01. So that's how much debt I've paid off in the last September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 7 months. And then my net worth has increased $6,116. And this is my favorite thing to look at because this is very encouraging to me. Like, I see progress. I see that my spending is going down, my net worth is going up, overall cash money that I have is going up. But if I were to just look at it since February, my assets have decreased $760. Again, a lot of that is my Roth IRA. But that can be kind of a slap in the face sometimes. When you look in just a month, you've lost almost $800. Your debt went down $382. but your net worth went down $378. So I do always look at it month to month just to be aware that I am on track, I am staying focused, and it is kind of a little kick in the butt sometimes when I see these numbers. I'm like, ooh, okay, I got a little lost here. I need to recenter and get my shit together, basically, and focus again on not spending and saving and paying off debt. But when I get discouraged by these month-to-month numbers, I really focus on the big picture. Big picture is I got my budget binder, and the Budget Mom has really just opened my eyes to budgeting. I love her so much, and I really hope you guys find this video helpful. I could not have budgeted on my own, I'll tell you that. I have tried, and it basically left me with $12,000 in credit card debt because I had no focus. I wanted to buy what I wanted to buy when I wanted to buy it. And ever since finding the Budget Mom, I really stop and I think, like, do I need that? Or is my debt more important to get rid of so I can actually start fresh? And obviously there's always going to be setbacks, there's always going to be challenges, but just finding this breakdown of sheets that really help me to stay focused and stay organized, I couldn't appreciate more. So that's enough of my preaching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so we can stay in contact down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.